Welcome to the World Unity Week and our room journeys into the new earth frequencies and sacred geometry. Today, Janice Coyle will share with us a new view of vibration and the connection between vibration and consciousness. But let me tell you a little bit about my amazing friend and co-steward, Janice Coyle. Janice has been a spiritual seeker since early childhood. She is an ET contactee and took classes aboard a mothership. In addition, she has studied with many teachers, had many mystical experiences, spiritual healings, and facilitated numerous spiritual study groups. Janice is also a writer, speaker, and a poet. In 2020, Janice founded New Earth Visioning Project, dedicated to envisioning a new Earth and a new us. She interviews people whose missions to help create a new Earth and to help us become new Earth people. I have had the privilege of being interviewed by Janice. And now I turn this over to Janice Coyle.
Okay, welcome. And I'm happy to be able to hopefully expand your consciousness about the energies and the frequencies and how important they are. But first, let's go into meditation. Let's get centered and quiet. Breathe in a deep, very slow breath. And one more. And another one. Feel your heart opening. Put your attention on your sacred and beautiful heart. And while we do that, let's smile inwardly and outwardly. We are happy. We are at peace. All is perfect and well in this moment. Now tune in to the truth of us all. Feel into the knowing that everyone is in an amazing, joyful state because you are here. This is the truth. This is the truth of our real being. Tune into this feeling of having everyone in so much joy because you are here. Feel what it's like to be in a place where you are utterly loved and accepted, just as you are. Now let's smile again and be thrilled about how you are in joy because everyone else is here. Utterly thrilled. This is the truth of our souls and our real being. We are thrilled about the joy and the love coming from you and the joy and love emanating from ourselves. Let's feel this for a minute. It is bliss. It is perfection. This moment is perfect. Notice the feeling of bliss that comes through and emerges from the feeling of love. The joy and the bliss made out of love. Let's stay in this bliss for a minute. Okay. Now that we're in a state of bliss and love, we're going to look at the vibrations and the frequencies and understand the power of vibration. In this meditation, we open to the love frequency. And some of us, and hopefully all of us, started to come toward and uplift our energies toward the vibration of love, which is very high. And you might have noticed that in that love vibration, it leads to another vibration, which the mystics call bliss. And that bliss is a higher, even higher vibration. That's why the mystics of the Hindu and other civilizations call Ananda. They put that behind their name because that means they have experienced the energy and the frequency of bliss. And we can too. We are capable of experiencing, our bodies and our consciousness are capable of experiencing all the levels of frequency, up and beyond what we can imagine now. We are capable of that. And today I hope that you can learn to feel all of these vibrations. And then you can manage the vibrations of yourself. On Sunday, I spoke about the incredible galactic energies flowing into our Earth. For the first time, many things are flowing into us. For the first time in millennia, at least, in many millennia at least, or maybe the first time ever in creation, very possibly. This very incredibly high energy coming into our planet is bumping up against the lower vibrations of this earth, and particularly ourselves and our systems. And I mentioned about how this creates chaos. But today we're going to learn the powers we have if we can regulate our own frequency. And we will learn first about the vibrations themselves, and then we will learn how to manage these energies. And in understanding vibration and understanding the nature of energy dynamics can come a lot of other things, which we will discuss. New ways of thinking, new ways of forgiving, new ways of living. So I know a lot about energy dynamics because I spent a year on a Palladian mothership, and we went into classes, hundreds of us humans now incarnate on this planet, went into these classes that most of what we were taught were energy dynamics. And we weren't taught like a mathematical and linear way. We were inspired by them to have open up to insights. Insights are different. Insights are sudden, automatic, easy. We don't learn the definitions of everything. We don't go into labs and find it out that way. It's automatic. And then what our responses are? Oh, well, of course. It's just the nature of things. So let's talk about vibrations. I'm going to share my screen now. About vibration, some simple facts about vibration. Vibration is known as frequency and or resonance. A slight difference, but we won't go into mathematics today. But what it really means in essence is the rate of spin of a particle or beam, electricity, movement, and so forth. And the higher the rate of spin, the more powerful the energy and more expanded the reach. Now, just to give you a visual here, yes, a little bit of an analogy. Let's say we throw a pebble into a pond. There's a spin. You see a radiant spin, right? Maybe a little bit of an indentation into the water. It's slow. It doesn't have a lot of reach because it was just a pebble. Now we throw in a bowling ball into there, landing in a place not too far from our little spin. The powerful energy and the expansion of that spin is far larger than the energy of the little pebble. And what happens to the energies, the rate of spin of the little pebble? It's absorbed and it changes into the bigger energy. That's how vibration is. The higher the vibration, the more expanded it is, the more powerful it is. And when a higher vibrational energy comes into the presence of a lower vibrational energy, the lower vibrational energy cannot sustain itself as it is without applying incredible force and effort to go against that influence. Right? So also, the higher the vibration, the more expanded is our consciousness. We're going to show how, but the rate of vibration actually determines how expanded our consciousness is. The higher we are in a vibration, the more we experience true power. I'm not able to change, Charles, oh, here we go, finally. Never mind. No, never mind. Okay, sorry. I had trouble getting this changed. Okay. This talk is partly going to be based on the book, The Power versus Force, by David R. Hawkins. He was an incredible psychiatrist. He was a quantum physicist. He spent decades testing the energies coming from out of people and measuring them. And he's come to some interesting conclusions. There's force and there's power. Force is needed when you're going up against the natural laws of the cosmos and the natural tendencies of nature. Power just is. We're in flow with what is, and we're into the vibrations that expand this consciousness and help us understand it. So, with force, we change the effects in the physical world. Right? If there's a cancer, they treat the symptoms. They get that out, and they give us medications and all of that. With power, things are effortlessly changed because the causes themselves are eliminated. I had cancer. Okay? I had the treatments. I had the medications. I had the radiation and all of that. But one night there was a presence of love. Right? And what causes the physical world are the vibrations, and every disease has vibration. When the presence of incredible love, the cause, which is the feeling, the vibration, is simply not there anymore. So the effects are not there anymore. This is the power of vibration. In force, we use law and violence and regulations to change the effects. What effects are we trying to change? The natural flowing effects of nature and the cosmos. We'll get into that in a minute. Whereas power uses high vibrational energy and consciousness to transcend any cause and effect that's out of line. Force needs energy and effort, obviously. In high vibrational energy, only intent is needed. And I'll talk about this on Friday when I talk about envisioning and the use of energy there. We only need intent. We don't have to struggle to make things happen. With force, it's experienced by the 5 physical senses. That's pretty obvious. Where our consciousness is not expanded in a low vibration. With power, we just experience things by inner awareness and insights and things like that. With force, facts are accumulated with effort. In power and high vibration, truth is revealed effortlessly, like it was on the ship. It's just an insight, which is coming into you. We've all experienced this. This is a higher vibrational way of knowing anything. Charles, I need you to come in here. I'm really having trouble changing these.
Without the key, you have a down key.
Nothing's happening.
Oh, click on it once. Just click on the video.
Click. How do I? What
just,
do I call?
Just click anywhere.
Okay. He gave me another way. I'm sorry.
That down arrow worked.
I found another way.
That arrow worked.
Okay. Okay. This chart, we're going to spend some time here because this, in a way, says it all. This is the chart of consciousness that has been created based on Dr. Hawking's book, Power versus Force. We got a lot of information here. You'll note first the green line coming all the way across this chart. And we'll start on the left. Those energies below the green line are created through fear. We're going to talk about that. And there's a level of force having to accomplish anything. Above the green line over here, is starting to, in these vibrations, we're starting to open to the power of love and be motivated by that. Okay? So this is where we're getting to more and more entry into the wisdom of love. Over here, below the green line, it's negative. And what does negative mean? It means that we are not in touch with the energies that should be coming into us from the cosmos and from our higher being and from our own light. Why? Because these emotions block it more and more and more as we go down. And so also these energies here contract our consciousness. Whereas these energies up in this area and above the green line are positive, inflow with the more and more inflow with a natural order of the universe. and very expanding for our consciousness. So let's look at these. As I hope we can come to understand what creates frequency. And frequency then manifests whatever is to be manifest. Let's start with the bottom. Miserable. We got the view, let's start these columns. First, we have the view of life. Then we have the associated emotional state that results from the view of life. Then we have the frequency. These frequencies aren't the actual mathematical representations of the frequency. It's just something so that we can kind of get a sense of it. The real frequency measurement would be very long. And for those who know mathematics, it's algorithmically presented and expanded. And it would be something like a big mathematical equation, and you might see 2 to the 54th power, that kind of thing. But this is just a representative, just so that we can kind of generally understand that these energies go high. But the difference, say, between, look at the bottom, the 20 have here and the 30 is actually way more than it appears to be here. Okay, so let's start at the bottom. We have the view of life here down at the bottom is miserable. Life is miserable, right? Resulting in an emotional state of humiliation, right? And then we have the frequency level. And then we have over here what Dr. Hawkins named that frequency, shame. Now, why would thinking the world is miserable lead to humiliation and shame? The reason for that is another dynamic. And that is whatever we think of anything or any other person, our subconscious, knowing oneness, doesn't know the difference between what we're saying about something else and what we're saying about ourselves. So if we are saying life is miserable, we're saying we are miserable. And of course, it's going to lead to shame. So what I'm getting at here, and we're going to really put this in you because we're going to go through this. What the initial cause of our frequency is what are our beliefs. Because what our beliefs are create the energy of our emotions. And that energy projected out is our vibration. It has a frequency, and that is what we're sending out. And that's what we're living with. The frequency of this humiliation energy, which is, by the way, the lowest one that Dr. Hawkins has put in this chart. Then we have evil, same thing. The belief in life is evil. So we have the energy of blame. And who are we blaming in the end? Ourselves. That's why we have guilt. This is how it works. So the humiliation energy, very low, almost stasis. Dr. Hawkins talked about it as very close to death. Shame is so low. It's not life-affirming in the extreme, in other words. It's not in flow with the true nature of yourself to the extreme. So blame is a little bit higher. Guilt is a little bit higher, right? A little bit more energy here, right? Then we go up to the life is hopeless. We're in despair, right? And we have apathy. We don't care. It's a whatever. It's just hopeless. No point in even thinking about it. A little bit higher than the other two. Then we have the world is tragic. The life is tragic. We have regret. Again, we're talking about ourselves. And grief. Now, there's real grief. which we'll talk about later, based on the loss of somebody that we have put a belief on that this should not happen, and I'm it's horrible that it happened, which brings a kind of a grief, right? Or we can just experience the energy, and there's an energy break between us and the people we've lost or the things we've lost, and we can call that grief. So grief has a couple of meanings here. Anyway, getting up to fear. Now, this is a bigger leap, actually, than it looks like here between grief and fear, because fear brings us a lot of energy because we're in fight or flight. Anxiety. So this is a higher energy than the ones below. Right? We can start, and we'll talk about later, how to manage fear in a way that we have the energy and just continue the thought around it. Then we have a higher one, we're disappointed. Life is disappointing. And we don't want it to be disappointing. We don't want to feel disappointed. We want to feel differently than that. So what do? We use force and effort in the form of craving, in the form of over-ambition, in the form of consuming a lot, whatever, to make life less disappointing. A lot of effort here. Then I go up to antagonistic. The world is antagonistic. So we have hate. We have the energy of hate. And then we have anger. This is an interesting one. This is actually useful. If we get out of our minds and our beliefs, this energy can be very useful. What I've learned in the past several years, if energy comes onto me, okay, if the energy of anger comes on me, I know it's based on some belief that this shouldn't happen or why, whatever. I then take that energy, and it's very good energy in one way. I can go out and clean off all the closets and all the drawers. I can take that energy and do something very constructive that's physically, that uses this physical energy. And if we can learn to do that, what we're doing while cleaning out all those drawers or getting the whole 3-acre yard ready, or whatever we can do, we bring this whole thing into a higher energy. Why? We'll talk in a minute about feasible. Okay, so we've transmuted the feeling by using and allowing the energy to let us move into something else. So anger is a very good way to do that. A good vehicle, actually. And we can take that energy and do something constructive with it, bringing our vibration higher. Then there's this really tricky one here. Life is demanding. Right? It demands a lot from me. It's asking for a lot from me. Right? The feeling is kind of scornful. I know things that other people don't know, and I've got to put it out there, and I got all these things, right? And this is a real tricky wicked here, this pride, because it's very easy to get fixed into the pleasurable feeling that we are special. There's a lot of evidence of it, damn it. People are looking up to me. I have stuff they don't have. Whatever, right? Those of us who are light workers can get caught every now and then into this one. Right? All of these under the green line can become very static. They're addictive because we think these are things that help us, whatever this is, that help us be protected, that help us manage this life in this world. It takes a lot of courage to come from any of this into this energy right here, feasible, because this opens us up to something new. We step from what we really know, and we've been in the habit of energies we've been in the habit of being in, these addictive energies here and the thoughts that create them. We have to step in to the unknown. And we start to understand and start to have the belief, oh, maybe there's something different. Maybe I don't know everything. Maybe there's another way. Maybe, and what that may be, and oh, it's possible. This might be possible. This could be there could be something else. We come from what we think we all know and all these other things into what he calls feasible, of energy of feasible. And what feasible does is open us up to everything else. It opens us up to guidance. It opens us up to a different view. Again, we're stepping into the unknown. We're stepping out of our habitual thinking here into, oh, maybe I don't have it totally right after all. Maybe there's something. According to Dr. Hawkins, the psychiatrist who studied people for decades and decades before bringing this forth, says that this step is the most difficult one. But once you get there, and you are consistently there, you are going up. This makes all the rest of these more easy. This one step above this green line. Then you're starting to be into flow with the normal energies of the cosmos and the way the cosmos is. You're in flow now with the laws of life itself. Below the green line, you are not. And that's why you have problems and struggles and everything else. We start to come into this one thing, feasibility. I'm open to something else that then helps you climb up the steps here into a higher vibration. Then you go into life is feasible. Now life is pretty satisfactory. I can trust, right? I'm into neutrality as to judging things as good and bad and all the rest of it, our beliefs do. Then we get up to hopeful. It's satisfactory. Oh, no, it's kind of hopeful. I have optimism. That's the energy. And that energy is a higher vibration. It's higher than trust. It's optimism. Then we become willing to go along with the laws of creation and in the flow. We're willing. Right? All of these, by the way, are stepping into the unknown. This is why courage is so important. Then we go into the harmonious thing where there's forgiveness and we're into acceptance. Why? Because we're into harmony. Our belief in life is that, and our see life as harmonious. It helps to understand energies, and that's why I'm doing this today, to come into understanding of harmonious. Then we come into life is meaningful, and you're really into understanding. You got the energy of understanding, which is very, very high. He names it reason, but it's really coming into insights about what it's happening and what the world is really about. It's meaningful. It means something. Then you come into the life is good. The world is good. Then you fall in love. You're in reverence. Very high vibration. then that goodness is so complete in your experience, in your consciousness, that there's a peace and serenity, which he calls joy. Then you come into the consciousness and believe the world is perfect. The cosmos is perfect just as it is. This leads to an even higher form of joy that's called bliss. He calls it peace. Then things just are. And that emotion is one that cannot be described with words. He calls it enlightenment. So, to summarize here, negative thoughts and beliefs block vitality, expansion of consciousness, and creativity. We're blocked. We can't be that creative the lower the vibration. Negative thoughts and beliefs do not align with the amazing benevolence and wisdom of creation. That's kind of obvious. Negative emotions derive from thoughts and beliefs that are not the truth. We believe a lot of things our thoughts tell us. We really take it for granted even. But our thoughts are never the truth. And we're going to go into that. Never the truth. Negative thoughts and beliefs, being not the truth, need constant reinforcement and repetition to sustain. He's an evil person. That shouldn't be. He's a nothing. If you repeat this over and over, you look for evidence and you'll find something. The mind will find, the conscience will find some little thing to verify that. Then you repeat it all over again. It becomes a belief. And what then does that cause? A low vibration. Or a high one if you have another kind of a thought. So everything has vibration. Frequency, vibration is everything. Every thought has a unique vibration. Every action has a unique vibration. Every disease has a unique vibration. What causes the vibration? Thoughts and beliefs. When I had cancer, I thought, what brought on cancer? Right? And I found out some of the statistics that 97% of people that have cancer have had traumatic experiences in childhood or other parts of life, but particularly childhood. That chaos within, caused by the suppression of a chaotic event, is there, and it comes up, and then it comes up, and we suppress, and it's still already there. What we need to do, and we'll get into this a little bit, I'm not going to go into detail, there's so many works about this. We need to release our traumas, and there are lots of ways to do this, and I won't go into the ways here. But in order to maintain a consistently high vibration, this absolutely needs to be done, because we're being a high vibration, where we can feel it, then this comes up and we're lowered again. So this does need to be addressed. Every particle in nature has a unique vibration. Every particle has a unique vibration. There are no two leaves. Scientists have not found two leaves that are exactly the same, leaves on a tree. They haven't found two snowflakes that are exactly the same. I know this because I'm an identical twin, and we are very different. So every little thing has a vibration, a unique vibration, by the way. Every energy dynamic, the combination of different energies coming together, has a vibration. Each of us radiates a unique vibration in every single moment. And it can change from moment to moment, what our frequency is that we're transmitting. So we're going to remember this and we're going to repeat it. In every moment, our beliefs and thoughts, along with the other energies, create a vibration soup, which in turn brings forth a manifestation. This is energy dynamics. Energy creates effects. Energy is the reason, is what brings forth manifestation. Raise vibrations by changing the mind. In Dr. Hawkins' chart, you saw the initial cause of any feeling, and the feeling causes the frequency and vibration. The thoughts come from our minds, and our minds are computers, and they're always wrong. When you compare the thoughts to the concepts and wisdom which you come to when you're in a frequency above that green line, you come into insights which are very different from thoughts. According to Dr. Hawkins, the best way to raise your vibration is to surrender your thoughts to God. We're not used to doing this, are we? Release every single thought? Don't believe any thought? Adyashanti. This is a spiritual teacher you guys might all know. I've been to many of his retreats, and one of his characteristics, and I've been in long retreats of his people that are following him, has said he's a strange guy. He seems to be botherless. How can that be? It's weird. One night, a young man came out to speak to him, got to the microphone, and he said to Adia, he said, I'd like to be like you. How can I be like you are? Adia answered, the only difference between you and me is that I don't believe any of my thoughts, not one. This is a very calm, very peaceful, very high vibrational being with incredibly expanded consciousness. And this is his answer. The only difference between you and me. I disregard virtually every thought. I don't know how many years it took him to accomplish that, but we can try. So, raise vibration by mastering the mind. It's a computer. Only use it for useful purposes. It stores information, period. It cannot interpret. Any judgments that come are pretty wrong. The mind is your servant, not your master. It's the master of a lot of us. So we can train the master. We can train the mind. We're the master. We're the natural master of the mind, which is just an instrument. Give it specific instructions. I learned this from a book I read many, many years ago when I couldn't sleep. The mind was blah, 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 blah. And Tony Williams, I read one of his books, and he said, try this. Ask the mind to repeat that statement. I am worthless, very slowly over and over. I am worthless. After a few times, you start laughing. Right? Now be a monkey and say it over and over. I'm with this, I'm with this, I'm with this. You laugh again. Right? So play with the mind. Dismiss it and bring it back. Watch the mind like you're watching a clown show. Right? Get amused by what's coming, right? Over and over and over again. We can come into some humor about this. And if you want to know humor and want to really get into that, there's a number one New York Times bestseller by Michael Singer called The Untethered Soul. He's in all kinds of humor about the mind. So just watch. What I say is, okay, thanks for sharing. I dismiss it sometimes that way. It often works. Right? We're always saying, many of us say, I can't stop the mind. The mind won't stop. Right? If you keep saying that, that's what's going to happen, because that's what we're affirming, by the way. But anyway, this is what it seems. We're going to stop our minds right now. Let's breathe. Let's get relaxed. All right. All right. And I'm going to say some statements, and you're going to either silently or out loud, however you want to do it, repeat what I say. Okay, mind. Repeat. Give me a thought to consider right now. I'm waiting. Come on. You give me thoughts all day and all night. Come on. Give me one right now to look at. You can do it. I know you can do it. Try a little bit harder. Give me a thought to think about. Okay, I'll wait. Okay. Did anybody get a thought? Right? Most people don't. I would say when I've done this exercise with people, I would say about 7 out of 10 did not get a thought. So if you did get a thought, try this a little bit more without me repeating from me, because it's coming a little bit more from you. You are the natural master. And when you start to talk like this, okay, give me a thought. And it's not in a group like this, it will work much better, because it's like a little puppy that's come for the first time in the presence of the pack leader. Right? Uh-oh, pack leader's in the room. I don't know what to say, kind of thing, right? Just try it. And play with the mind. Try that exercise and the other one. And we start to play with the mind a little bit and think about it, then it becomes a little bit less the master of us. And we start disregarding as a truth any thought we have. First of all, we drastically raise our vibration just by doing that, because the beliefs that the mind is giving us over we're habitually thinking are not the truth. If we disregard it, then we immediately raise our vibration, as Dr. Hawkins says. How do we feel vibration? It's very simple. How do we feel? Do we feel confident? Do we feel at peace? How are we feeling? If we don't feel like we would like to feel, then let's drop the mind. Don't believe the thoughts. Play with the thoughts. Or make the mind remember, since it's a remembrance instrument for us. Make the mind find a joyful experience. Give me a joyful experience to think about. Give me a remembrance of a time when I felt like I could do anything. That kind of thing. Just try it. Again, negative feelings are not in alignment with the truths of creation. Positive feelings are in total alignment. Truth will just appear when thoughts stop or are disregarded. The full statement, again by Dr. Hawkins, surrender all thoughts to God, all thoughts to God. He calls that elimination, the highest frequency on his chart. That's an interesting statement. So what are the truths about creation? That if we're below the green line and those beliefs are not in alignment with, right? Creation is vibrantly life-affirming. That's very obvious. The abundance of life, the abundance of expression, extremely life-affirming. Infinitely abundant and prosperous. This is also obvious. Creative, right? Oh, okay, yes, of course. It's one of those insights, of course. Benevolent. We'll come to learn this when we disallow the beliefs of the mind. We go out in nature. We go anywhere. It's very benevolent. Our beliefs make it not benevolent. Exuberantly expressive. That's pretty obvious too, isn't it? What appears what it manifests is very expressive in so many, many ways. Color, sound, beautiful, beautiful things to see. And the exuberance of it is beyond what we really, really even can understand, the exuberantly expressive cosmos. Seeks harmony and balance. Whatever is damage or whatever is put onto our Mother Nature, the creation, the expression of all energy seeks harmony and balance. That's the way it works. It will seek whatever balance it can get. Even disease is an attempt to bring back harmony and balance. Nature and our bodies and everything seeks harmony and balance. You see that in the conditions, spirals and of transit in the universe and the cosmos and all the rest of it. It seeks balance, seeks perfection and beauty and form. Nature experiments to see what's the best outcome. What's the best it can possibly be? How beautiful can we possibly get? That has an energy. The creation and life wants to feel. What is true of creation is true of us because we are part of creation. Very simple. We have all of this. And all of these have very high and positive frequencies. Very high. All of these energies here, very high. Each of them has a different, slightly different energy. Benevolent, slightly different frequency than creative, and so forth. Okay. The good news when we're trying to manage this, when we get above the green line to feasibility and all these other beliefs and energies, the universe has our back because we are in alignment with the truths of the universe. We got all that. We got that momentum. We just have to step in there with courage. Truth needs no effort. It just is. We saw the truth. We all understand it just is that way, Knowing this brings courage. So we can make the mind think about this. All those characteristics of the universe, those frequency characteristics, all frequency. Life-affirming, benevolent, creative, prosperous, harmonious, and simple. Knowing all this can bring us to a step of courage and that vibration. So more ways to raise your vibration. Generosity, forgiveness, high vibrational foods, eliminate alcohol, toxins, surround yourself with beauty, walk in nature. By the way, nature is at a higher vibration than we are. That's why when we go into it, we feel uplifted. It has a higher vibration than we are normally living in. Why? Because of our beliefs and thoughts. Spend time in silence. Do what brings you joy. I want to talk, we've only got 5 more minutes, but I want to really say something about forgiveness. The energies within and without, known or unknown, determine what manifests in any given moment. Combining certain chemicals, it's just like chemicals that we learned about in the lab in high school. If you mix this chemical with this chemical, each of them having a different resonance, you might get an explosion, or you might get a bubbling up and coming out of your container and onto the floor, whatever, right? We don't blame the chemicals for that reaction and messing up my floor. There's no need to forgive, because that's just the nature of things. These things came together and that was the result. We don't say, oh, that shouldn't have happened. I don't deserve this. Or how can somebody do such a thing? How can a chemical do such a thing? Let's bring this to any moment. Let's give an example here. Let's say that my partner started beating up on my son. Right? In that moment, I did what I needed to do. Right? But I'm saying, how could somebody do such a thing? I don't deserve this. How can it happen? It should not have happened. But this is what did happen. Considering the energies within that person, the partner, the traumas, the stresses in that moment, the energies coming in from all over the place, as they do within us, the state of his contracted or expanded consciousness at that moment, what his energies were. Some of these energies he doesn't even know exists. At what level is he to understanding everything? At what level is he in ability, because of those energies, to control it all? All of those energies and the energies of other people around him are coming in and colliding in 1 second. And what I was taught on the ship, and remember this, in any given moment, because of the frequencies coming together, nothing can manifest but what manifests in that moment. Nothing else was possible because of these frequencies coming in. Nothing. So we will look back on an incident that's causing us a whole lot of lack of forgiveness. We can think about energies, and that can help. Because when we become wise, and when we understand the energies, we are evolving into beings that know how to control energy itself and become masters of it and frequencies. Nothing else was possible. But let's imagine something. We got all the stressful energy. We got the stuff, the demons inside this person and everything, and inside ourselves as well. And what was my contribution to this? What if, in that moment, someone walked in and put in this cauldron of energies another energy, an energy of love? What if that ingredient was in that combination? Guaranteed, there would be a different result. But that wasn't there. It's nobody's fault it wasn't there. That's what happened. Okay? Understanding energies and energy dynamics, people, can really help in bringing us to acceptance. Okay? And in this state of acceptance and understanding, I'm going to quote or paraphrase from A Course in Miracles. What they say in A Course in Miracles is that forgiveness is complete when we understand there is nothing to forgive. Can you see why here? Doesn't mean that we're allowing. If we have the situation where somebody's beating up on somebody, we acknowledge the energies. We acknowledge acceptance, acknowledge the energies and the energies' natural consequence. Right? And we have compassion for the person, and we understand it. And we avoid blaming and getting into all kinds of thoughts and feelings that are going to stay with us and lower our vibration over and over during our lives. Or allowing. Allowing means letting the incident continue or be repeated. Allowing yourself to become a victim. Avoiding taking measures for yourself. And let me tell you something. When I was on the ship, I got the best advice I have ever gotten. My mentor stayed with me, and I felt her presence over and over for about a year after I came off the ship. And I remember one time I was standing there and something was happening that, oh my God, I thought it wasn't violence, it was something else. I don't even remember it now. But that I felt like I need to kill this. I need to change it. I need to do something to heal it or whatever. And I asked her, what should I do? What should I do? She said, nothing. Just see it clearly and take it into consideration in your plans. Now, if in this incident of this that I just described, the sun and everything and doing this, if she can open to consideration in her plans, understanding this is going to happen again because this is the nature. This could be. We could have this flow of energies, frequencies again. How do I take it into this? What are my plans? Suddenly she comes out of fear and anger into feasible. She's raised her vibration just by thinking, what could be my plans? How can I avoid this? Rather than it being stuck in the energy and the panic and the fear. Come out of that and ask this question. Bring you into a higher vibration. You're open then to guidance. So open to calm yourself, open to creativity and guidance, calm yourself, slow your breath down, send love to everyone. See the big picture. That's what we're trying to do here. Bringing your higher perspective, use your mind to assimilate facts, not interpret it. Open your imaginations to flow, solutions, alternative. You crossed over that green line just by doing this. Ask for guidance. Surrender all thoughts again. Be guided by your gut. Live in the now. The universe has your back. Just remember these things. By living in high vibrations, we can change the world. I'm going to blow your mind now with this chart. This is what David Hawkins concluded in his 40 years of experience of studying this. At the top, one individual level at 700 enlightenment can affect 70 million individuals below the level of 200, excuse me, which is just below the green line. One individual at level 600 peace can counterbalance 10 million individuals below 200. One individual at level 500, love and joy, counterbalances 750,000 individuals below level 200. One individual at 400, which is reason, counterbalances 400 individuals, or 100,000, excuse me. One individual at level 300, which is just willingness and acceptance, counterbalances the negativity of 90,000 individuals. And below, I'll read this, were it not for these counterbalances, mankind would self-destruct out of sheer mass of unopposed negativity. The difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought is so enormous as to be beyond the capacity of the human imagination. We can see from the analysis above that even a few loving thoughts during the course of the day, of my day, more than counterbalances all of my negative thoughts that day. That's very hopeful, isn't it? Right? This is why those of us who come into higher vibration can and will change the whole earth and bring the whole earth into manifestation. And I hope this has helped in forgiveness and understanding what we're dealing with here and what we can do about it. We are extremely powerful. I passed my time. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you.
Janice, thank you so much. Wealth of information.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.